A crazy day here in Les Sables d'Olonne, very much heading towards winter. Overcast, raining, blowing, and a very low visibility. Big swell out off the river here, and we'll go through a tracker update and a bit of an overview of the weather that everyone's likely to get. We're all keen to catch up on what Mark Slats is doing, heading towards Cape Horn with the Blobe. So we'll start at the back end of the fleet first and just give you a rundown on what's happening with Igor and Mark. Igor's heading to Albany, obviously. Mark on a roll now towards Adelaide, his hometown, and the sailing conditions they've got are really good. Igor's got a bit of a breeze there, but he's still only doing 3.2 knots, but heading towards Albany with not far to go. In fact, we'll just give you a distance there. One there, one there. I'm going to do a tutorial. I will do the tutorial this afternoon on the website and this tracker, by the way, because there's some people still don't get some of the bits. 385 miles between these two little icons here. So 325 for Igor. You can slide these wherever you want to see what's going on. So Mark Sinclair has only got 270 miles to go, so a couple of days. Saturday morning, Sunday, Monday, so probably Monday morning or Tuesday sometime, Monday afternoon, Mark will turn up depending on what weather they're going to get. So we'll get rid of that, and we'll follow the weather together on these. So one day ahead, 11 o'clock tomorrow. Mark's still got breeze, Igor's got a trap. There's a no wind zone he's got to get through, so Igor's going to slow down, but Mark will keep sailing quite nicely. Next day, it's day 2, Mark runs out of breeze. Okay, so it's not going to be Monday, it's probably going to be Tuesday. Igor's still the same, he wouldn't have got through that band yet, so he's got a couple of days to go there. We'll push through to the 4th of December. Igor's going to start sailing at last, and Mark's got some southeasterlies. He'll be up in behind Kangaroo Island by then, so beam reach. So I reckon he's going to be there probably on Tuesday. So they Sunday, Monday, Tuesday afternoon, I reckon. That's where we'll see Mark. Igor coming on 4th of December. That's kind of good because his team coming out of Russia won't actually be in Albany until the 5th of December. We've got some locals throwing their hand up to give Igor a hand too, which is good to see. So I'd say by the look of this, Igor's probably not going to be there till the 6th or maybe even the 7th. He's dragging a big lot there, so we'll quickly zip through this. Mark's already in by then. 5th, light winds for Igor, not good. 6th of December, finally got a breeze. So if we go through to the 7th, yeah, I reckon Igor's going to be the 7th of December before you see him there, maybe. But anyway, no storms or anything on that. So we'll go back to real-time weather, just sliding the scale across. And let's look at Tapio. Tapio's making some very slight progress, and we had a bit of a snap, what I call a snap. I was wondering what Robin Knox-Johnson was doing with his weather, because I couldn't believe the amount of headwinds that Tapio's had in the last week or so. And so I was reading Robin's book, and sure enough, he had about nearly 3 weeks of easterlies when he was in this similar zone. And same day, Tapio must have been checking out the same thing, because he sent a message and said, yep, he's still got some headwinds to go. Anyway, today's breeze, not bad. It's a northeasterly wind that he's got. He's making 4 knots, and he's sort of heading across in the right direction. There's a bit of an easterly in it, which is good. But here's what's going to happen if we go through a day. Same thing, a little bit more easterly in it, so he'll have to hold down a bit, and the wind's increasing a bit too, which will make it a bit tougher. So the next day, so this is on the 3rd of December, you can see it's going to get stronger. Now, he can't really tack back the other way. I think he's probably just going to wear this. I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait and see. He's getting reasonably good forecasts from New Zealand on the weather there, so I'm not sure which way he'll go. He may decide to tack back and stay in the lighter winds back here, or carry on regardless. Go forward the next day, so 4th of December. This whole area is stronger breezes, so at that he would only be tacking this way or tacking that way. I don't know what he's going to do, because this is getting confusing. Then it's getting more on the nose. So he's got some struggles right through. We go through to the 5th of December, and he finally gets a bit of a slant. Everything's swinging because of this blow coming up behind. So by then, he'll either be up here somewhere or across here. I'm not sure where he's going to end up. So 5th of December, he's finally got a slant there. But watch what happens on the 6th. We go through to the 6th. And at least it's favourable. He'll be on his way by the 6th of December, but that's literally another 5 days away. So Tapio's not going to be getting anything that looks like favourable weather for at least another 4 or 5 days. No big storms, he's going to be okay, but incredibly frustrating. So that will have meant that he's had about 3 weeks of very unfavourable weather. Not good for him, but I've got to say he's still smiling. I don't know how he does it. I would be beside myself, and hats off to Tapio. Anyway, moving right along here now, let's have a look. I'll just scale back because we'll do all 3 of these. Our middle fleet. So weather today, a bit of breeze coming through. Susie doing 6.8 knots, probably loving it. It's on the starboard quarter. Nice direction, and there's probably 35 knots in here, maybe gusting 40. Uku's about to get it. He's currently making 5.2 knots. You'll see him speed up a bit. And Isfan doing 5.4. That's pretty good compared to the breeze he's got there. So he's probably doing really well. No doubt hand steering, I'm not sure. But certainly making good time. Uku and Susie are still pretty much holding the same relative position. Susie's not gaining a lot because Uku's not pulling away. They're basically sailing together, because straight away you can see here they're on a similar weather pattern. So what Susie gets initially, it then goes through to catch up to Uku, and then when Susie slows down with it, Uku will be going faster, so they keep moving in relative position. And we'll pull it forward a day. Next day it's all evening out. You can see Uku's going to hold the breeze a bit longer. Susie's going to lose it. Isfan will be sailing slowly, so that's okay. We go through to the 2 days away. Susie's looking okay. Uku might slow down a bit. Isfan's going to speed up, so that's looking okay as well. We come through to the 4th here, and there's solid southerlies coming, which is good. Susie will like that. Not a storm, just typical solid southerly from the Southern Ocean. Their temperature will drop. Susie's been saying every time it goes south it gets freezing cold. Uku will be over here. I'm not sure. They'll all be moved along by then. That's 3 days away. They'll be in this zone. A little bit of unstable weather, but nothing too dramatic for now. But that could all change, because it gets a bit vicious as it heads south again. So 5, 6, that's 4 days out. Weather's, should be reasonably accurate, but we'll just have to wait and see. Nothing dramatic anyway. I always look for problems with occasions when I need to sit closely by the phone 24 hours a day, in case we sort of hope for unexpected phone calls. Isfan will have been moved on then. So I think the next 4 or 5 days for the middle fleet is looking fair enough. I've skipped forward 8 days. Yeah, it's all looking pretty reasonable. So no surprises, just constant movement to the west, heading towards Cape Horn, which I'm sure they're happy to get to. So let's go back to real time today, and we'll come down here to Mark. This is really interesting. It's what do you call it? A stone in the middle of your gut when you know you're heading towards Cape Horn, and you know that there's a big blow coming as well. But Mark's pretty strong. He's been there before. He's a really good sailor. The boat's in good condition. He's reporting he's ready to go, and he seems to be doing all right for now. So the breeze is just starting to pick up as we speak. I've been watching it for the last few hours, come through. He's got good forecasting. We did send, because we have a process, anything that heads over 40 knots, we alert people. We've done that. We gave Mark an update, but we know he's getting good weather anyway, and he knows exactly what to expect. So we've got to hope the forecast holds true. Interestingly, Chile Rescue Coordination Centre are monitoring everything as well. Not that they're expecting anything. We're just working with them ever since Jean-Luc turned up in the area, and they're giving us forecasts, and the weather forecasts are matching that's shown on Windy TY at the moment. So all is good there. So if we come forward, we might just push this through in 3 hourly lots, just so you can see what's happening. So that's real time now. Mark's got so far. Let's just check out the distance. I'll just zoom this up here. Check that. Get on there. Oh, I went the wrong way around. We'll put a marker on. So right now, put that on Cape Horn. Right now, Mark's about 134 miles away. So you could say somewhere in the next 20 hours or so, Mark is going to be around Cape Horn. He's going to make pretty fast progress depending on what happens with the sea state and how he sets the rig up and how much hand steering he has to do, what the Aries is doing, things like that. So, but I'm pretty comfortable with Mark. He's a top sailor. and he understands heavy weather, that's for sure. So but anything can happen. So that's 3 hours time. So it's 3 hours, there's 6 hours, so 6 hours from now, you're starting to get these blues. That means it'll be gusting up 60 or so. Seas are going to build to about 8-9 metres forecast, so they could get higher. Fortunately, the wind flow has been generally from a northwesterly direction. Maybe a bit of west in it, but I think the sea will usually just now be building from the northwest. There shouldn't be too much of a cross sea. That's always the dangerous bit, so I'm expecting Mark to only have to deal with increasingly large seas. So that's 6 hours from now, he'll be quite in the thick of it. There's 9 hours from now, still in the thick of it. 10 hours or so, he'll be down about here somewhere. So well and truly. And where are we? So that comes through. Now there's an interesting thing that's happening here. By the time we get this is now, okay, so that's 5 o'clock UTC. It's currently, these positions are 11 o'clock. So if we go through to 5, this is where he might get a break, because you can see what's happening. The wind gradient is pulling away from the coast. In fact, if I backtrack, at 2 o'clock, you'll see it's come up towards the coast, but from 2 o'clock onwards, UTC, if we go, there's just before, that's 2300, so this is 6 hours, what would we say? That's gone backwards. So here you can see the wind has followed right round to Cape Horn. Okay, that's 2300 UTC. 3 hours later, wait for it to catch up, boom, it's starting to delaminate from the coast, you might say, and bending down. So there's 3 hours, so it's 2 o'clock UTC. If we go another 3 hours forward, so that's 5 o'clock UTC, you can see how there's this big calm zone. Now, if Mark keeps going, he's going to be out of the breeze. So by 2 o'clock UTC, I think the wind's going to die down dramatically for him, because he'll be over here then. And then the sea takes a while to die down. It can be quite dangerous then when there's no wind and big seas. So he could still have some challenges, but it looks like he might be okay to get around. The sea will die off back to about 3 or 4 metres by the time it gets to 5 o'clock. And part of the weather alert that we've given Mark is that there is this gradient going northwest to southeast, starting from 2 o'clock building up to 5 o'clock UTC, where the wind is dying the other side of the line, and the sea will slowly die down once he gets very close to Cape Horn. It does then fold around and catch up to him, so he should round Cape Horn with less breeze, and then it's folding around. You'll see if I keep pushing this. I've got to look at the big picture, then it folds around, but he'll be in the clear. So I think he's got about 6 to 9 hours of really nasty stuff, and then it'll slowly start to get a bit better. We'll just zoom back so you can see what happens here. So we'll just walk you through one more time. That's real time now, 11 o'clock UTC. So by the time we go to 12 hours later, this is 12 hours later. Okay, so 12 hours from now, he'll be around about here somewhere, right on the edge of it. And then we go through for another 6 hours. You see it's pulling away. So he's just going to miss the worst of this, which is good news. So let's hope he keeps moving forward, and let's hope this forecast is about right. But it looks like he's going to miss the worst of it. So we're certainly happy about that. So there's 24 hours from now. 24 hours from now, he'll be down around here somewhere, and it could always be worse. That's the bottom line. So let's go forward to another day. So it's 23rd, so there's 2 days from now. 2 days from now, all looks good. Look at this, he's going to get a push straight up through Estrecho de la Mer, so he'll move fast on that. So we go for the 4th. And there's a problem. Okay, so the 4th, so that's 3 days from now. So he's got 1, 2, 3. So 3 days from now, Mark will be in this zone here, and he'll be starting to get into the unstable weather, which is the Southern Ocean, is the South Atlantic. And then the tactics come to play, but at least Mark can do whatever he wants. His rig's in good condition. His sails are perfect now for the Atlantic. I take my hat off to Mark. He's gone all the way through the Southern Ocean using hanks and sails. Not my way to do it. He's a big, powerful guy, and I really do take my hat off to him for all that. The number of times he's been up on deck changing sails in the middle of the night, quite incredible. Forward, that's the 4th. Let's go through to the 5th. There's the 5th. He gets a push the other way. So yeah, it's just a whole series now of what we call normal South Atlantic weather. And then there's a big lift going up. So let's just now zoom back to, so Mark's looking pretty good to get around Cape Horn, and for the first day or so after, he'll be reveling in the calm seas and so on. That was a bit big. Let's have a look at what's going on with Jean-Luc, bearing in mind Mark is behind. Now, one thing we didn't look at is Mark has picked up a whole pile of ground on Jean-Luc, and we've known that. So in 24 hours, he'll be at Cape Horn. So let's just go a distance there. So 24 hours, that's 840. So if we say where he is now even, and I'll just keep this a straight line, that's about the same, just so you can see what I'm doing. That's about the same triangular distance. He's got to go that way and that way. So let's just say it was like being here. He's just over 1,000 miles from Jean-Luc. So that means he's picked up about 300 and something miles, 350 miles from Jean-Luc a week ago. And that's sort of to be expected because Jean-Luc will have slowed down a bit, and we'll find is the average speeds of Mark will slow down a bit from here as well. But he's only got 1,000 miles to catch up, and he's got about 6,000 or so miles to go. So it's going to be a hell of a race. Watch this space. Okay, so we'll get off of that, and we'll look at what has been driving Jean-Luc. We'll come back to real-time weather today. Jean-Luc is doing okay. He's making 4 knots at the moment. Why is he only making 4 knots? I would have thought he'd... here we go. He might be, 4 knot average. Okay, probably because he would have... See this? You can see this zone of not much wind there. That's been coming up from the south. Okay, as it's going through, and I reckon he might have been in there. This has moved on a little bit more, but I would have thought he'd be moving a bit faster than that. And now, just to see what the weather's doing, we'll hold it at this level here. I'll just try and stop that pulsating with the screen. Okay, so we'll go forward a day. This is tomorrow, and Jean-Luc's got a great ride north on this. He's going to hook forward. So there goes one day. We'll go forward to another day. 3rd of December. Ooh, that's interesting. So he'd be up here somewhere. He's not going to go this side of this little low pressure. He's going to stay to the left. So he's going to be up in here doing some interesting things. In fact, I'll just go for a distance on that to see how far away that is, the center of that is. Okay, 3:30, that's 2 days. So it's now the 1st. And this was the 3rd, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's going to get some heavy weather there, but at least it's all behind him. So I'll look at that and address that depending on which way he goes, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be up in this. So we might just bounce that forward in 3 hourlies just to see what's going to happen. There goes, I need to hit that. If you're doing 3 hourlies, you've got to hit that slider button before you can click it through with your keys. So it's just going to move slowly northeast by the look of it. This is every 3 hours to 24 hours later. Very tight little system. Okay, so I would imagine Jean-Luc's going to be fine. He'll probably just follow the back end of that up and get a good kick and a slingshot up in between the coast. It's very risky going up there normally because if you get caught with a big high, over here you've got big headwinds, but it looks like if we scroll this down, he's going to ride that low pressure system. We'll come forward to another day to the 5th. Yep, he's going to ride this system, and he'll keep pushing on this all the way up in here, which is quite amazing. We'll go forward another day. Yep, even more. Very light, but he gets a go. That'll be interesting down here. If we just look here, Mark might just be back on the bottom of this by the time he gets there. So generally, apart from running into that low pressure system with Jean-Luc in the days ahead, it doesn't look too bad. There's another one following up behind, and that may help him get past this zone as well. So I think Jean-Luc will be really reasonably happy with that. Worst case scenario is there'd be a big high here with the wind going that way, and it'd slow him down like crazy. So plenty going on right now, and we've got the real hunt is on now with Mark. When he gets around tonight safely, hopefully, touch wood, boom, it's on between Mark and Jean-Luc. And again, the main thing here is not so much boat speed. Obviously, Mark should be able to go faster than Jean-Luc in the Atlantic legs, but it's all about tactics. Mark can go wherever he wants is a good sailing boat. You know, he can sail to windward, he can do whatever he wants, he's got no damage. Where Jean-Luc may miss out is he can't go to windward, he doesn't want to pound the boat, and that may affect the tactics that he does. And as we've said numerous times, if Mark can make a better decision, a course choice, it's got nothing to do with boat speed. It's all about he might take a better weather route, and he could pick up 4 or 5 days, and that can make all the difference. So no one knows who's going to be there at the end of the day, and no one knows who's going to be first boat home. So that's about it. Thanks a lot, and I'll be back on again in a few hours with question and answers in English. Thanks. See you later.